Good Monday afternoon to you guys. Welcome to Dodgers territory. It is episode 101. I am Alanna Rizzo. That is Clint Pasillas. We actually had our 100th episode of DT last Thursday. Chris Taylor, kind enough to join us on that episode. And on episode 101, Bill Plunkett, who does a great job covering the Dodgers, has for decades. He works for the OC Register. He is joining us today. So again, thanks for being here, you guys. Like, subscribe, all of the things. All right, Clint, let's get to it. The big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, I can feel it, Clint. Spring training is palpable. You know why? Because that means FanFest is coming up, and it is. It's on Saturday at Dodger Stadium. So that means that spring training is just around the corner. What are you most excited about when it comes to FanFest and then the subsequent spring training season coming up?
I mean, it just means that we actually get to see this team again. We get to see Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani at Camelback Ranch. We get to see Truck Day. We get to see video of these dudes yucking it up, hitting baseballs, the crack of the bat, the beauty that is Camelback Ranch. My God, I love this time of year. It's my favorite holiday in February, pitchers and catchers reporting.
Yeah, I'm sure your lovely lady would love that. The fact that it's pitchers and catchers reporting and not Valentine's Day, but that's for another program. My thing about Truck Day was always asking Alex Torres, the head clubhouse guy, can I please send a bunch of other stuff? Because I moved down to Arizona for 6 weeks, right? Just like the players, just like the team. I'm like, can you please take my pillow? Because I don't want to sleep on the hotel pillow. Could you please? He's probably like, sure, Alanna. But I remember loading all the stuff up in the truck and going to Camelback Ranch. That being said, what do you think, Clint, are the biggest storylines headed into the 2025 Cactus League season for the club? They had a heck of an offseason. What are you looking forward to the most? Not just seeing the players, but what's the biggest storyline in your mind?
Yeah, when we're looking at storylines, I mean, you have to look at, well, one, shortstop, Mookie Betts taking over as the shortstop. That's what they say. That's what they're telling us. Second base is probably the biggest area of competition. The bullpen, an area of competition. Who gets those final roster spots? Because as it stands, you said last week, they need themselves a 70-man roster. At bare minimum, they need a 45-man roster and like a 28 or 30-man active roster. There's a lot of talent on this team. So to see how it all fits together. Plus, they also announced the non-roster invitee list. We'll go through more of this with Bill when he joins us in just a few minutes. But some big names there highlighted by Roki Sasaki, who, of course, is not on the roster. He is but a young prospect. So also named the number one prospect in baseball by a few outlets, including MLB Pipeline, Baseball America. Just seeing all that talent come together and some of those questions, that Dave Robertson company have to answer. It's going to be fun. Another tight spring training for this team as well.
I feel it's so funny, though. You see Roki Sasaki as a non-roster invitee. I'm like, OMG, NRI. Give me a break. You know that guy's in breaking camp on the big league roster. I get that he's a prospect, but give me a break. That's funny, though. But he is. I mean, technically, that's what he is, right? So we'll definitely talk to Bill Plunkett about that. Here's something that was interesting to me. The only juice that we heard on Kirby Yates was a report from Bob Nightingale that the Dodgers were going to sign him. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, this is getting a little bit crazy. But that was really the only traction that we had gotten. I hadn't heard anything else about Kirby Yates. Obviously, we know Roki Sasaki's a Dodger. We know Tanner Scott is a Dodger. We saw those press conferences over the course of the last week. Anything on your end, and we will ask Bill about this, Clint. I don't think Kirby Yates is happening.
I mean, we're probably... The fact that we did only get, I think it was just Bob Nightingale who said it. A few other people, including Ken Rosenthal, kind of said there's some traction there. The fact we haven't seen anything, I'm not all like super worried at the moment. I'm very interested to know what Bill has to say about it. I'm not super worried just because I think we're at that point where some of these veteran dudes, whether it be him, whether it be a Kike Hernandez, you get some of these dudes that are... Listen, they're grown up. They understand the game. They understand the Dodgers have the opportunity to take advantage of that 60-day injured list once spring training kicks off. So maybe they're okay waiting for that announcement, waiting to tell everybody, oh, man, I'm totally a Dodger. I wasn't expecting this. But they've probably known for a couple of weeks. And we've kind of said the same thing a good amount recently. So I'm not terribly worried. But if they don't land Yates, it's still a very, very good bullpen.
No, it's ridiculous. I'm so pleased with this roster going into the 2025 season. This is the most comfortable I've felt about a Dodgers team in quite some time. So, are they done? That's a question that we're going to ask Bill Plunkett.
Yep.
Back, though, just in a second with Bill after a quick word from Todd Frazier, Eric Kratz, and Scott Braun on Orgain.
As an athlete, I care about what I put in my body, especially when it comes to protein. But can we also get some protein that tastes good? Come on, it's 2025.
Todd, that's why this podcast is sponsored by Orgain. Orgain believes real nutrition has the power to make a real difference in people's lives, and it tastes so good. Orgain's new 30-gram complete protein shakes offer protein-packed real nutrition designed to satisfy your cravings without any added sugar. They're also an excellent source of premium ultra-filtered protein with all 9 essential amino acids.
FT loves Orgain, and you'll often see it on the desk in the studio as we fuel up before and during the show. We love it for muscle support, recovery, and more.
Remember, there are no quick fixes when it comes to your health. If you want more protein, give Orgain 30-gram protein shakes a try. Head to Orgain.com/FOUL30 and use code FOUL30 for 30% off your order. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use the code FOUL30 for 30% off.
And he's not lying either because I have Orgain. They sent me some, and I'm so grateful. It's legit good. I got the chocolate kind. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but we are actually promoting something that tastes yummy. So thanks to Orgain for being a part of the show. We're going to get Bill Plunkett on here momentarily. Just before we do, though, we were talking about the fact that, are we done? If we are done,
Yeah.
are you? What's your grade for the off season, and what is your confidence level going into spring training on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, confidence. Let's say what 1 or is 10 super confident and
yeah, 10 is super
okay.
confident.
Okay,
1 is not confident at all.
If we're talking confidence in this team, it's got to be a 9. 10 is right there. It's in reach for sure. But yeah, if we're talking about a grade as well, this is beyond A+, A++, any of that kind of stuff. This is an S tier off season, S++. It was so good. It was just an absolute clinic from Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, and company. So I love it. You have an updated grade, even if they don't land Yates.
No, A+. I mean, honestly, I still would I would like to have Kike before I had Yates. I think our bullpen is so good, and I know people think I'm nuts, but the point is, I think Kike would really round out what was a tremendous offseason. A+. All right, Bill Plunkett is with team every single day. He is headed down to Camelback Ranch shortly. Covers the Los Angeles Dodgers for the Orange County Register. Kind enough to join us now. I'd really rather talk to his wife Janice, and I'd really rather see his pup, but it is what it is. Let me ask you this, Bill. Thanks for being with us. Are the Dodgers done in your estimation?
Are they ever done? I don't think question. They're ever done. They're always, the words we always hear: opportunistic and nimble. They'll grab up a player if they think it, if it improves them marginally. I think that's what you're seeing with Kirby Yates. I don't think they need Kirby Yates, but yeah, what the heck? He's available. Why not sign him and upgrade the bullpen a little bit? I can see the same thing happening in the outfield group. If somebody out there, catches their fancy, a guy like Austin Hayes, I think, is still out there, and he's got the reputation of being a lefty killer. So there's still moves that they could make.
Bill, we're a lot of fans still waiting on the hopeful potential return of a Kike Hernandez to this team. Do you think that's something? Some of us have been spitting that idea out there a whole bunch. Hey, maybe the Dodgers have this secret handshake agreement with him, not so much Roki Sasaki. Could Kike Hernandez still be in the mix for this team and this very crowded roster?
Could he be? Yes. Is he? I am not hearing his name from the Dodgers at all. So take that to mean whatever you want to take it to mean. I mean, I don't see a need. I mean, The roster is pretty full. I don't know who you would bounce off to make room for Kike. Maybe the extra outfielder like Andy Pages doesn't make the team because of Kike. I get the fan passion for Kike and wanting him back. He had the quote of the postseason when he told Ken Rosenthal that yeah, we won't go any farther there. And that's Kike. I mean, Alanna, that's the personality he brings, the little fire that he brings to the clubhouse. And yeah, I think that would be fine to add. I don't think there's a handshake agreement. I don't think there's if I'm Kike, I certainly would wait to the very last second to give the Dodgers every chance you can. I mean, where else would you want to play if you were Kike Hernandez other than L.A.? So, is it possible? Yes. Is it necessary? I wouldn't think so.
Bill, it seems like that's the sentiment from every player, though. Where else would you want to play other than LA? So I'll ask you this, having covered this team as long as you have and having covered baseball for as long as you have. Are the Dodgers ruining baseball?
Oh, they've destroyed baseball. It's terrible. Look at the way, teams just dominate and run off 3 Super Bowls. I mean, 3 World Series in a row. No, that's nonsense. The Dodgers are, I thought it was funny that a lot of this, they're ruining baseball talk came up after the Sasaki signing, which cost them $6.5 million. That's a pretty cheap price to ruin a sport if that's the one you're going to peg it on, that was the final straw. What they've done is they've done everything you can possibly do to make a place so attractive that it has advantages over all the other teams. And it's not just the money. Yes, the money is a big part of it, no question. But it's the ownership's commitment. Look around the league. How many other teams can you eliminate based on their ownership commitment? It's a great place to play. The stadium is torn up this winter because they're upgrading the clubhouses again. They just did that 12, 13 years ago. They're doing it again to make sure it's state of the art. They take care of the families. Alanna, you see the behind the scenes, how they take care of the players' families. Every little thing that you can do to make yourself an attractive destination, they do. And that's what they've done that gives them an advantage over other teams. It's not just the money.
Let me ask you this then on the other side, Bill. Why aren't other teams spending? And why are they just collecting cash? And why has there not been something from the commissioner's office saying, hey, Miami Marlins, you haven't spent $1 yet. Hey, Baltimore Orioles, you're not really spending much money. Hey, whatever it is, whatever the team is, why aren't they spending money?
Well, I guess I could ask because we lost Bill there for a second.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, there we go. We got him back. We got him back. There
we go. I'm sorry. We probably didn't pay the Wi-Fi bill this month. So it's a little spotty. Why aren't other teams? You got to ask each of those other teams. Some of them don't have the resources, but a lot of them do. I mean, the Mets certainly do. Tell me the Yankees have to operate on a budget? Yeah, I don't think so. The Cubs ownership is nearly as deep-pocketed as the Dodgers. There are plenty of teams out there that could be spending more aggressively, but I don't know if it's the motivation or if it's the resources, but there's just a lot of them that are content with winning 80 games, 85 games, being on the fringe of contention, maybe making the playoffs, once every 3 or 4 years, and it satisfies the fan base. It certainly wouldn't satisfy the Dodgers fan base these days. They're pretty demanding.
Yeah, one of the demands now I think people have, shocking because we see the people online for years with fire Dave Roberts, but hey, maybe he turns out he's pretty dang good at his job, and the front office kind of alluded to the fact that let us know that after everything is said and done, all their work is done this offseason, Dave Roberts is going to get himself a well-deserved contract extension. Is there any sort of movement in extension talks? What have you heard out of the organization?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. I don't think there's any sense of urgency on either side. Dave isn't going anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So there's plenty of time. If I remember right, the last time they negotiated an extension, it was pretty late in spring training when it got done, maybe second half of spring training. So don't be surprised if it doesn't happen before then. But I will say this. This has kind of been sticking in my head about the Dave's situation changing in the postseason. If I remember the concept, sliding doors. Remember the sliding doors? I think there was a movie even where one thing in your life changes or one event changes and everything changes after it. I think game 4 of the NLDS was that sliding doors moment for Dave Roberts. I mean, they're down 2-1 in the series, literally, one game away from a third straight first round defeat. If they lose game 4 or game 5 to the Padres, we are talking about a very different future for Dave Roberts. Now they go out in game 4 and they put together an 8-pitcher bullpen game shutout and then come back and shut out the Padres again in game 5. And, a couple weeks later, you got a World Series championship. Dave's a future Hall of Famer and everything has changed. So for me, that game 4 was a sliding doors moment for Dave Roberts. And now he's viewed much, much differently than he would have been if they had flamed out again.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, he definitely publicly talked about that too. That Padres series was certainly on his job, was on his mind, and he did a tremendous job, arguably the best managerial job of his tenure. Let me ask you this, Bill, because you had tweeted too about the non-roster invitees. And of course, Roki Sasaki is on that list, which makes me laugh, but that's technically what he is. He's a prospect. Who do you anticipate besides Roki Sasaki that is possibly going to get some time at the big league level in the first half of the season?
You can name any one of the pitchers on that list because that's just the way it goes. They cycle pitchers in and out, and I think the most intriguing name, or a couple intriguing names, one of them Giovanni Gallegos, who's a very experienced reliever, closed for the Cardinals for a couple of years and was pretty good at it. But has fallen on hard times. So if the Dodgers, who are very good at figuring out what's wrong with pitchers and turning them around, if they can get him on the right path, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him fairly soon. As a veteran, he probably has an opt-out date in that minor league contract. And if he doesn't get called up by May 1st or June 1st or whatever, he may, find himself a job somewhere else. A couple of other guys, the Julian Fernandez, who's just a real hard thrower, was once a prospect for the Rockies. Maybe we see him. And another guy, Jose Hernandez. He was kind of a fringe top prospect in the Dodgers system, left-hander, and got taken in the Rule 5 draft by the Pirates. Spent a couple years over there, got hurt like all pitchers do. And got cut loose last year, and the Dodgers picked him up, but they didn't just send him to AAA. They sent him to Camelback Ranch, and they spent, I want to say, about a month just working with him, turning him back into the pitcher he was when they had him the first time. So it'll be interesting to see how his development goes this year. So there's 3 names from the pitchers that I think we'll see. David Bote, Cubs utility man, is on the list too. First time there's an injury in the position player group, I think we may see him. But Roki, hey, cross your fingers. Maybe Roki can make the opening day roster if he looks good. He's got to look good though.
Yeah, there's something pretty, maybe a little bit of talent behind that right arm or inside that right arm. Another name.
I've heard there's a little there, like a 102 mile an hour fastball, a devastating splitter. But we'll see.
That's a shame he couldn't get much interest this offseason. He ended up having to sign with the Dodgers, like so many teams do. It also mentioned
was able to find a job. Thank goodness. At least he's not unemployed. So good for him.
So people need to keep an eye on Dalton Rushing, also getting some reps early in the season. Left field, maybe some catcher. We saw a dude who's pretty good at hitting a baseball. He'll also be very good at throwing a baseball, presumably this year, Shohei Ohtani. And we also know that amongst your work writing about the Dodgers, you also wrote about the Dodgers. We got a book, 2 versions of a book, or at least 2 covers there. Bill Plunkett, look at that, renowned scribe. Tell us about this.
One's for our Japanese fans. That's Showtime 3.0 is already on the shelves in Japan. For the amount of interest among Japanese fans for anything and everything Ohtani is unbelievable. If we could document his daily breakfast menu, it would blow up online. If we got photos of him walking decoy on the streets of Pasadena or wherever he ended up, go off. It would be massive news in Japan. It's remarkable. There's the shelves just of Ohtani coverage and Ohtani content. It's remarkable. But yeah, I dipped my foot in it, and I wrote a book that's out in Japan. It'll be out here in the United States at some point in March, I think it is. But it's available for pre-order now, so hurry up, get your pre-orders. They make a wonderful Valentine's Day gift, I think. Arbor Day coming up? I don't know.
Yeah.
Put it in your Easter basket for your baseball fans in the family.
Bill, what was something really interesting that you learned about Shohei in your time writing this that perhaps you didn't know? I mean, obviously there's a lot of coverage on him, but there's no amount of information that seems to satiate the fan of Shohei Ohtani. What was something interesting that you learned?
Well, the first thing, and it wasn't from him, but his free agency was as unique as any free agency of a professional athlete ever. And I talked to Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, Stan Kasten. Nez Bolello did a big interview in USA Today about the process. So one of the first chapters is kind of recapping that whole free agency process. And I think if you're a fan and you followed it, this will tell you a lot more than you picked up just on daily coverage. Andrew and Stan and Brandon were all very open in their answers. I appreciate that. And of course, it was, a plane to Toronto and all of the bizarre twists. Dave Roberts was on a golf course with Kevin from The Office when the news broke that Shohei was going to Toronto. Now, the fact that Dave was out golfing when this weird story broke is interesting and funny enough, but the fact that he was out with Kevin from The Office, and okay, a cast member from The Office, but Kevin from The Office, he was out golfing. So
Dave living that Hollywood
Dave said
lifestyle.
He had the worst round of his life.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I would only imagine.
That was very interesting. So that's an interesting chapter. There were a couple interactions that I had with Shohei over the course of the season that I included in there that were kind of funny. Just the fact that I threw a couple Japanese phrases at him, I instantly became front page news in Japan. I was interviewed over and over all season long because I asked him, first of all, Wanchan Genki, that's how's your dog? So we talked about his dog a few times. I was, big news in Japan. I asked him, if you remember in May, the city of Los Angeles announced that it was Shohei Ohtani Day. And the unique part was they didn't just proclaim one day Shohei Ohtani Day. Every May 17th, for as long as Shohei is with the Dodgers, will now be Shohei Ohtani Day in LA. So I asked him, how do we celebrate Shohei Ohtani Day? Should we bring, a tree in the house and decorate? Do we decorate the house? Do we give gifts on Shohei Ohtani Day? He said, no to all of that. And I said, okay, well, is it like Thanksgiving where we have to have a special certain meal every year on Shohei Ohtani Day? What should we eat on your day? And he said, sushi. And then he turned and started to walk away. He got a couple steps away, turned back and said, or pizza. So this is the kind of hard-hitting journalism that you can get for your money if you buy that book.
I tell you what, though, they're eating it up. They are flying off the shelves already in Japan. You can see the empty spaces there on the Shohei Ohtani bookcase. Right. And then you can pre-order Bill Plunkett's book, LA Story, featuring Shohei Ohtani. You can do that right now. We'll go ahead and put it up on our socials as to where they can pre-order. Bill, thank you so much. Look forward to reading your coverage and listening to everything over the course of your time at Camelback. And thanks for being on. Best of luck with the sale of the book. Great to see you.
Thank you very much, guys. 2 weeks from today, we're pitchers and catchers.
I know,
Special
that's amazing.
Time.
Off season flew by. All right, Bill Plunkett with the Southern California News Group, the OC Register, of course, doing a great job. Love to see it. Get that book. Let's pre-order that for Bill. Let's help him out. And now let's get to Last Licks. Clint, to the moon. All right, DT fam, let me introduce you to Malibu. This baby girl is a 2-year-old American Bulldog mix. She's so sweet. Look at her, how cute she looks in her Costco sweater or whatever the heck that thing is.
Not a sponsor.
She's great. No, they're not. She's great in the car. She's great on the leash. She's crate trained. She's spayed. She's lovable. She's good with other dogs. She's awesome. She's available for adoption. Please reach out if you're interested in learning more about Malibu, baby girl. She's such a sweet girl. All right, this is super cool, Clint. Before we get to what is coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas tonight, how about this little video from Miguel Rojas, basically the way he welcomed Roki Sasaki to the team? Let's take a look.
I love that. Back to the roots.
So cool.
It is a throwback seeing him back, back in 72. Of course, very famously worn as he saved a no-no for Clayton Edward Kershaw. So that's a pretty cool throwback and a nice gesture to Miggy Rowe.
Yeah.
Passing the torch of number 11 to Roki, who's going to be hopefully wearing it in Dodger blue for a very, very, very long time.
I mean, I think that goes without saying. I love the fact that he's a veteran guy and is still willing to give up, because he didn't have to. The veterans don't have to do that. And I think Miguel Rojas has earned his stripes, right? He didn't have to do that, but he understands the importance of what Roki Sasaki means to the team. And, he's a team player. Miguel Rojas always has been a team player. I think that's super cool of him to give up that number. And the way that he did it, the theatrics and the cinematography of it all was very cool. So
I'm waiting for the Porsche, though. Like, what kind of car? What is Roki going to give him?
That's a good point.
He doesn't have Ohtani money.
But he will eventually.
Yeah.
I mean maybe not 700 million, but
it technically is making more on his signing bonus this year than Ohtani's going to make from the Dodgers, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, that $2 million a year. Boy, I tell you what, Shohei Ohtani is really struggling. All right, let me ask you this. What is coming up, my friend, on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas?
We got more Dodger talk coming at you tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time, live on my channel, All Dodgers, with the Clint Pasillas. Tube in, subscribe. I do want to dive more into the non-roster invitee list for this team, more of the headlines that we should be looking at for this Dodgers team as we head into spring training, because as well built and as well structured as this roster is, there still are always question marks for teams heading into spring training. So I'm looking forward to talking with people in the chat. Appreciate our chat showing up and showing out here on today's edition of Dodgers Territory. And one thing we also got to note, thanks to our crack team, Sarah on Slack, letting us know that Kevin from The Office joined the boys on Foul Territory last year.
Brian Baumgartner, right? Yep. Isn't that his actual name? Kevin from The Office is Brian Baumgartner. Yeah, he was on FT last year.
Have it legally changed. Just Kevin from The Office.
Just Kevin from The Office. I know. Like, he honestly could never be in another role. Like, no one's ever going to take him seriously. But that's going to do it for this edition of Dodgers Territory. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, bring a friend, smash that subscribe button, like us, subscribe. We're over 8,000 subscribers. We appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you to Bill Plunkett for coming on the show, and we're going to go ahead and post where you can pre-order LA Story. I'm off on Thursday, so it's just going to be Clint and I don't know, maybe Cupid talking about why Clint hates Valentine's Day. Coming up on Dodgers Territory. See you later.
Listen, something else is better, and that's pitchers and catchers reporting. Okay, bye. Sure.